Well, g'day, folks. Welcome back to The Ultimate Solution. And today we're going to talk to some of the independents that are floating around in this election for 2022. I'm particularly interested in, independents down in my old stomping ground, particularly coming from Mount Gambier. Today, we're going to talk with MAddy Fry, who's standing as an independent in the electorate of Barker. Maddy, congratulations on standing up. I know you are a freedom fighter. You and your partner spent a good deal of time in Canberra, a few months back, didn't you?
Yeah, Canberra's been our second home for the year. Well, 4 weeks felt like 6 months, that's for certain.
Yeah, I bet. Now, you were active in the freedom movement before going to Canberra, but certainly staying for 4 weeks, you no doubt saw a lot of the freedom movement, a lot of the different tribes of the freedom movement, if you like. You particularly sort of fell in line with one of them, though.
Correct, mate. Obviously, we've been involved in the freedom movement down in Mount Gambier, your old stomping grounds. The
Yeah,
start
I'm an
that
old
was,
Hamilton lad, so yep.
hey, that's where
Used to play footy over
my
there.
dad's from.
There you
There
go.
you
Well, we may have shared a beer in the past, just between you and me.
go. Hey, there's worse fellas to share a beer with, that's for certain.
Indeed.
Yeah, obviously, as the COVID issue emerged and the discussion around vaccines started to happen, Beck and I had a lot of discussions. We'd only newly got together, so hit your first serious relationship with each other, and then next minute you're dealing with COVID. It's destroys that honeymoon period, and
Throws you into it, doesn't it? Yeah.
most people go, all right, big question, do you want to have kids? And ours was like to each other, big question, do you want the vaccine? I reckon, and we both just said there wasn't any much research at that time, but just that gut feeling said no. So straight away we were both on the same page, and then that's when we kicked off our own informative research around everything that was going on and started diving down the deep old rabbit holes. We then realized that we needed to find other people because it gets isolating when you just feel like it's yourself or a couple of you. So we headed to a local stand in the park one weekend. And that's where the freedom movement started, mate. Met like-minded people, found the new family, and it all started from there.
And it's not a small family. You've managed to unite a number of people in southeast South Australia, haven't you?
Yeah, so on our social media pages, just in the Limestone Coast, we have like approximately 1,100 people, but our rallies down in Mount Gambier can pull about 300 people on a good rally.
Yeah, right.
And we consistently are growing just as people start to grow their awareness and everything. The guys down here have been amazing. The only reason we got to Canberra and I got to meet one amazing guy, Ricardo Bosey, was because the local people in our local freedom family paid for Beck and I to go up there, and they kept paying for us to stay there as well. So if it wasn't for our family and friends down here, we wouldn't have got to do what we got to do in Canberra.
Well, it certainly made a big impact on you, so much so that you've come back and decided to stand at this election. That's a big decision to make.
It is, mate, and I'm doing it for them. Sadly or not, for some reason people like to listen to me. I hate the sound of my own voice. Like, I honestly look at this, we're 3 minutes, 20 seconds in. When am I going to shut up? But for some reason, people have said they found some sort of inspiration, motivation when I speak, and they've encouraged me. And, we've tried the rallies, we've tried the letters to Parliament, we've tried the phone calls, we've tried the camp outs. It feels like we've tried everything peacefully, that now the only chance I've got is to get in those goddamn doors and bring it down from the inside, mate.
Yeah. And obviously with a good bit of support around southeast South Australia. So let me just outline, I think, the area for Barker. Now, I'm stretching memory here. So do you go as far west as Robe?
Yes, yep.
Okay, and then maybe as far north as, I don't know, Keith or Bordertown, somewhere like that, maybe?
No, so hang on, mate. Can you pause or not?
No, we're going live at the moment, so there's not much I can do about that.
Sorry, everybody, I've lost car keys. Surprise, surprise.
You've lost your car keys. That
can't be. The boy and the girl are going out, and I look at this. That's going to be a nice live. There we go. All right, car keys are sorted.
You're just one of us. We all do it. Mate, I lost my keys at 4:15 this morning on my way to do a breakfast radio gig. So it happens to everybody.
It happens to me daily. So Barker, I reckon you've only just listed half of Barker, mate. So we go right down to obviously Mount Gambier, and we go all the way up north, like to Berry, White, we've
Oh,
obviously
wow.
got Matt Annam and all of that. So we go all the way up. Literally, we touch like the New South Wales border up the top of the
Yep.
Northern Territory as well, and then all the way back down. We're a massive electorate.
Right, right. So are
Yeah.
you able to get out and around and meet the people in the electorate? I know you've been out and about in Mount Gambier. Obviously, you're based there, but it's a reasonable drive to get up to Berry.
It is, and obviously because we started, put our foot in the game a little bit late.
Yeah.
We've been time poor, but we are hitting the road as of tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, I'm doing a bit of a coastal journey up to Meningie, that far, back down home, and then we're heading to the Adelaide Rally on the 14th.
Oh,
And
great.
then from the 14th onwards, we'll head up to like Barmera and Berry and all of that from up there and try and hit up those top ends and back down to Lamoureux and all of that. So we are going to get on the road, but there's a reason. We've got two independents running for the seat of Barker that both align with A1 policies. We both have the same morals, same stance and everything. But Barker is such a large electorate that we just wanted, running two of us, it gives the people one a choice. So, if you don't like 29-year-old loud me and you think that Vince being male and 61 is more your cup of tea, the people actually get a choice for a change on their candidate and who goes
Sure.
in. But also we can meet the people a lot easier. We've got such a big electorate, we can focus more on the people by being able to be present more often.
And it's not a battle between you two, is it? It's like you're great mates.
Oh, it's not a battle, man, and not at all. Like we're pitching each other left, right, and centre. We met in Canberra for the first time, and then when you camp with someone, you get to know them very well, farts and smelly feet and all. And it's, mate, we're family. A win for Vince is a win for me. Well, a win for most freedom parties is a win for me. So there's no battle. That's what people can't understand is, one, your independence, but two, why you're running to you. You've got to cut each other's throat. And then three, why are you even supporting each other? But this is our new world. This is how it works. Like, politics shouldn't be about the cutthroat stuff. It should just be about voicing what is best for the people, putting options out there for the people, and supporting your electorate. It's that simple.
So a lot of people are saying, not a lot of people, rather, a lot of media, mainstream media in particular, and the two major parties are coming out and screaming that a vote for an independent is a wasted vote. You're an idiot if you vote independent. Not thinking yourself through, doing your country, doing yourself a disservice, yada, yada, yada. I tend to approach this from a completely different perspective, and I think most of the independents standing in this particular election cycle anyway are at least leaning my way. And that is that every voice you get elected independently to the parliament is a voice of the people. And the more voices of the people you elect into the parliament, the louder the people's voice will be. And these two major parties won't be able to, ride roughshod over us any further. So as you've just outlined, it's not so much important that you get elected. It's important that an independent gets elected so that the people get a voice.
Correct, Carl. Like anyone who's starting to look into the Constitution, the 1901 Constitution, we know that parties, they're unconstitutional. That you are supposed to be like independent, elected and represented by your community. Like, Vince and I are the only two on that ballot paper that had to go out and get 100 plus signatures to even register ourselves as an interest to be a nominee.
Yes.
Everyone else just, okay, Joe Blow around the corner, he's all good. Let's just put him under Liberal Party and sign the piece of paper. Exactly what you're saying, Carl. Imagine if we had every electorate in Australia, not just South Australia, the whole of Australia had independence in, every single electorate would have their voice heard, and we would have healthy debate, and the people would actually get change that they need. We wouldn't have party politics. It'd be a person in there representing a community of people, and then the next one's representing their community. We collate the community's ideas, our own visions, and we work together, and the people get heard. People are scared of independence, but that's only because of what the majors and the media have put out there. Mount Gambier, for one, our local member for Mount Gambier has been an independent. He just got re-elected in our state election, and the people down here love that he's an independent.
Wonderful. So there's an appetite for independent election in your electorate then?
Yes, yep.
So realistically, who are you fighting, and what sort of a stranglehold do they have on the seat currently?
Look, we're fighting the obvious. We're fighting the current incumbent, Tony Payson from the Liberal Party. we've got big farming, rural industries up of Barker all the way through from north to south. And
Yeah.
a lot of people, they're born into a Liberal bloodline. It is what it is. We've sat Liberal, I don't even like to say how many years, a lot of years. And the thing is that people get comfortable with what they know. So the biggest thing we're batting our head against is this current getting people out of the mindset that it's only two parties. That's our biggest battle.
And I think also educating people on how the vote works. That's turning out to be a much larger battle at the moment. And just speaking from today, for instance, I've had probably 5 people ask me how they can vote for Ricardo Bosi. And I asked them what electorate they live in, and they don't live in Greenway, so they can't vote for. Oh, but I'll put a placard up in my window for him. No, well, that's great, thank you, but you can't vote for him. So people seem to be very naive at how to vote. Now, you guys have obviously you're going to appear on the ballot. How are you going to appear on the ballot? There is, all these different things above, below the line. Don't think that affects you too much though. So preference deals. People are confused. What is your advice for somebody who is looking for change, has been like you say, maybe a staunch Liberal voter all their life, of finding a little bit disillusioned at the moment, particularly given in your area, as you say, large farming interests spreading from well north. I mean, we're talking like big wheat up north, like big wheat. Millions and millions and millions of acres of big wheat, and then like all the way back down through the western part, if you like, of South Australia. Sorry, beg your pardon, the eastern part of South Australia. It is just a food bowl. So these decisions that have been made recently by the Liberal government and previous ones by Labor governments have really affected farmers. Fuel, for instance, at the moment is a real issue, and I imagine you can bring that up. So is there enough appetite to see change, to either you or Vince?
Look, I believe I think I underestimated the appetite initially. When I signed up on this crazy journey, I was like, I'm going in, and I was going in with two things: be the voice for my community, and just, I don't want to be that person sitting on the couch anymore. I don't want to yell another year at the screen during elections and question why they're doing it.
Yeah.
But 2, I wanted to educate people how to vote. And I did a lot of that in the state elections and got in trouble with the AEC, because I agree, just the same as you, that our voting system, it's actually one that's amazing, but when you don't understand it, it's complicated and scary, and we're not given the education when we're younger, when we require it. However, my advice for people this year is pretty simple. It's like a few things. Start by watching, even if you're a staunch Liberal fan your whole life, have a look at Topher Field's How to Vote video with the marbles. It's a basic understanding on how a preferential voting system works. And then I do suggest to people, jump on the Vote Easy website. On the Vote Easy and the RDA website, you can have a look at all your candidates, and there's a list of questions that we've answered. So instead of looking at the newspaper or listening to radio, you can sit there in your own time and go, well, how does this person feel about farming, and what are they going to offer from manufacturing? Have a look there. You can play around then and actually make your own how to vote cards on Vote Easy. So the average person can actually start looking, well, I could move a preference up here and move that down there. But I just encourage people, we've got 2 weeks to the election. People need to realise this is a big opportunity for us as Australians, and that it's worth educating yourself on how to vote. Because, this whole system could be wrought and we could go through a fraudulent election, but the more people that understand how they vote, and they vote with their heart and vote correctly, we actually have a good chance of bringing it undone.
Yeah. And making real change in Australia for it. You brought up mainstream media there before. Now, if one thing I've noticed in this entire media campaign is that independents aren't getting any kind of mainstream coverage at all. I noticed that you managed to get a spot, pretty much half a page or more in the local Border News, is it, in Mount Gambier?
Yeah, the Border Watch, yep.
Oh, gee, that's a throwback to my 3HA days. Then that was great to get a little bit of local paper. I do remember that SES, was it SES 8 was the television channel in Mount Gambier? Or
yes, correct. Still got
television. Is it still a station, because aggregation has decimated so many of them? So are you getting any other mainstream media? Is the local radio station well, they're not local anymore either, I suppose. So how are you getting your message out?
I personally have been extremely lucky, Carl. I've had all of our local papers message me. I've now got radio stations down here and up in the north of the electorate contacting me. I've got online forums and interviews from papers in Bordertown. I can't complain. I so far, Carl, and it's a kudos to the community that I live in, my electorate, because I know other candidates and independents are having such a hard time. But I'm finding myself in like the Stock Journal. Vince rang me and said, "Oh, we're in the Stock Journal," and I said, "I haven't even interviewed like for him." We honestly, as an independent, I thought I was going to struggle, but I have had nothing so far but people following me, asking me if I'd like the opportunity, and they've been completely unbiased and honest in what they've written up. Like some places, our local paper even sending me proofs beforehand. So as an independent, I feel so grateful and just, I can't express my gratitude enough to my local community for the support they're giving us. And that's all the way up the electorate, mate. Like I'm getting, honestly, and I'll be transparent, some newspapers I didn't even know exist, or I'm on platforms just reaching out. So for me, I like to think it's all the protesting I've done about how bad mainstream media is that now they want to be really nice to me. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Go with whatever works. Go with whatever works. That's my advice. All right. Well, in the few minutes that you've got left to us, what is the message you would like to pass on to anybody who is watching this, is sitting in the electorate of Barker? I'm not sure how many people would be in there, but a good few thousand, tens of thousands, I imagine. The decisions that they make this election are going to affect them possibly a lot longer than the next 4-year election cycle. So what would be the message you would give to the undecided voters in your electorate?
I encourage the undecided voters to get out there and do your own research. Every year, the 2 major parties and the 4 major parties, they just throw dollar signs at you guys, thinking that that will buy your vote. And then they have unfulfilled promises every election. And then we're left 4 years later complaining about the same stuff. Any independent or minor party that goes in, we can work with our communities to get the money and fix the issues. We know housing is an issue. We know our farmers are suffering. We know manufacturing needs to come back. But the thing that the big parties can't offer you, the independents like myself can offer you, is we don't have to pull the goddamn party line. We go in and we go in specifically for you as people. I think this year the major thing is no more corporate career politicians. Instead, we need to vote in people. And that's what I'm saying. Get to know the person, because at the end of the day, as an independent, I may align myself with A1 policies, but I back my people more than anything. So if my electorate won't change, I'll stand with them. With a party, we're watching now. Major parties can't even decide on who to put on their how to vote card in what order. I put out a how to vote card, then something changed, and I'm like, I'm an independent and I care about my electorate, so I'll just make another one.
Yeah.
So as an independent, I can support you guys, but do your research and make your vote count. Don't go to the election booth this year and walk in with your head down like it's a chore, because at the end of the day, it's our future and your kids' future we risk, and we really have one shot at this. It's now or never.
Unbelievably well said, Maddy. Really, really well said. Now, you mentioned you're going on the road, so you're heading out in the next few days. Will you be taking that extremely sexy VW bus that I saw on pictures of?
I wish. I spent 18 months every weekend with my dad renovating that thing from a rust bucket to my best friend. And then I blew the engine one day and it's sat there ever since. I wished it was. No. It would be amazing. I wouldn't even have to. I'd just be able to sleep on the side of the road. Still probably will, but at least I would have been in style.
Right. For people who don't know what we're talking about, Maddy, describe your beautiful VW combi, will you?
Oh, I have a 1974 VW combi. It's got a pop top. It's got a full kitted out bed inside it. She's like teal on the bottom, white on the top, and it's amazing. I had 2 dreams as a kid: own a border collie and own a combi van. So I achieved both of those dreams. So now that's why we're here. Nothing to lose now, mate.
Good girl. Good girl. Well, I hope you, the border collie, and the combi get to Canberra. That's the aim. And if anybody can help rebuild a 1974 VW combi engine, MAddy Fry, you couldn't find a better person to be able to go and help. So
that's it.
I got a few mates up in Queensland. I don't know how we get her up here, but you never know. They might be able to send you a few bits that you can plug in.
Look, honestly, Carl, my dad's willing to teach me and we can do it together. It's just that time thing. I was meant to be doing it, and then I was like, I'm going to run in federal election. So the van just sits there for a little longer.
Maddy, thanks very much for spending the time with us this afternoon. Best of luck on the road. Drive safe, and I really hope that the people come out to see you in the next few days. You're a fabulous person, and you're only out to fight for the rights of all of us and I think you'll be a magnificently strong voice in Canberra for all of us. So best of luck. I can't wish you any more.
Thanks for your time, Carl, and thanks for helping us get our message across, mate.
Anytime, anytime. Give my love to the Big Blue Lake.
Oh, I will, mate. Don't worry. Once we get the fluoride out of it first.
Ah, fair enough. Well, I do remember I never wanted to go for a swim in it, but that was for various other reasons. There are apparently aliens that live down the bottom of it, if indeed there is a bottom to it. Yeah. I don't know the story about the Blue Lake in Mount Gambier. Folks, go and have a look. All right, Maddie. Thanks for talking today.
Awesome. Thanks, Carl.
Cheers.